channel Physics by IITians. Today we have special guest who's doing PhD from Europe and his name is Bhanu Pratap Singh. So hello Bhanu, welcome to the channel Physics by IITians and please give your short introduction to us.
Hello, Sathi. So uh, I am Bhanu Pratap Singh, and as you told that I have done my master's, that is MTech in Applied Optics from IIT Delhi. And if I tell about my previous studies, I have done my Bachelor's of Science in Physics Honors from Tirthankar Mahavir University, Muradabad. And after that, I have completed my MSc in Applied Physics from uh, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule Rohilkhand University, Bareilly. So after that, I qualified GATE and got admission in MTech. And after completing my MTech, now I am pursuing my PhD in University of Bern here in Switzerland. And the institute where I am working right now is Institute of Applied Physics, and I belong to Biomedical Photonics division of that institute.
Okay, so tell us about your journey from India to Europe. How did you prepare for it?
So I think the journey for PhD mostly starts when we choose our master project. So during the years when I was studying at IIT Delhi, so we have a compulsory 1 year master project in the final year, and that I chose in biomedical photonics, which was guided by Professor Dilip Singh Mehta there, and that was the first step towards deciding my field in which I want to pursue my career after masters in PhD or in general research. So to prepare for PhD, I would say that first we have to be very much prepared about our topic for which we are trying to pursue our career in, and then try to focus on what type of work is most relevant in current situation, what are the applications, and what you want to contribute in that field. So after deciding that, you can probably look over what type of work various professors are doing around, and then just write them emails citing your work. What are you doing right now? What are your future interests? And if they are interested in taking you, then they will just reply, and that's how you probably get to know how to get a PhD. That's how I did
So,
basically.
okay, so what is right now? What is your area of research?
So, as I told, my field is in biomedical photonics, but my specific area is in polarization imaging. So, what we have is like that. The specific thing we are doing here right now is assessing the uh, tumor margin in the brain. So, let's say if we have a brain where there is a tumor in the white matter and gray matter, but it is quite difficult to see with the naked eye during the operation procedure whether we have to remove the tumors part or in during the operating procedure. It is very difficult and to kind of define the boundary between the healthy and the tumorous tissue. So we are kind of developing polarization method to precisely detect that margin, and then doctors can use it in during the operation so that operation can be highly efficient in that.
How do you, why you have chosen this particular area, and how did you prepare for that?
So about choosing this particular area, I belong to a family background which are like working in medical field. So I got a motivation from there that I should also contribute in that field, but I wanted to do it in field of enhancing the technology of the medical field. So when I completed my masters, I got an idea that biomedical is a large area where we can readily apply our physics and then can develop a lot of things. So in that way, I came to know that there are a lot of fields, and then I got an admission in applied optics, and that is a really good course to explore optics with the biomedical. So that's how I got in there.
Okay, so since you are doing a lot of hard work for PhD, so what are the cultural differences that you found from India and compared to India? What are the differences in Europe right now in your group?
So, so first thing I will say that when you leave your country, so you leave most of the people you know beforehand. So when you come to a new place, everyone you know you meet is in every way different than you in cultural background, in their society structure and everything. So the main difference I find in India and here is that the work culture is really like people are really responsible. They are on time every time. They lot of uh, care about your personal space, personal time, and it is like that. They value your contribution in everything. Uh, so it is kind of the difference I find here from India to in work culture.
Okay, so what is the right now for the PhD students? How much is the scholarship amount, and it is good for living or compared to the expenses?
Yeah. So if I talk about specifically Switzerland, they have quite good amount of fellowship paying. So for me, if I talk about my fellowship, it is around 48,000 Swiss franc per year. So it is divided in 12 months, and after taxes, I would say I can save half of my uh, fellowship around, and half is like invested in expenses and everything else. So it is quite good, and it mostly depends on your living standard and most of the things, but it is enough to survive for a single student very well.
Yeah. And do you think that there is an advantage of doing PhD from Europe compared to India?
uh, it is highly relative, I would say. uh, India also has a lot of good groups working there, but uh, if I compare to Switzerland or Europe, you PhDs, I would say, highly depends on how you carry your research. So it is not like that if someone is doing from Europe and in any of the university, it is guaranteed that he will do very good work. It depends on personal like how much efforts you put in your work. But I would say that doing PhD in Europe, it is the benefit on the part of your resources. So if you want to do something and you have a lot of funding, so you don't have to wait for approvals a lot of the time, and you don't have to wait for, like, if let's say you are building an apparatus or equipment, so you don't have to wait for longer time to get your things delivered or get a permission to do that. It will be very fast here. So it depends, but yeah, I think the main thing, the difference from India to here is on the amount of resources European people have. So everything is readily available for you, and you can do whatever you want, like in your field. So that is how it works.
Yes, so just I am rephrasing. So what you wants to say that what you want to say that it depends on you how much you do put efforts to execute what your work, but you
Yes,
don't have to wait along for approvals or some
yes,
instruments or some maintenance. Sometimes
yes.
because most of the time instrument is not working properly, so the student need to wait.
Yeah, as I work in India as well for short projects, so I know that if something is not working, it takes a lot of months to get fixed. And if there is we are short of any equipment, we have to get permission, and then we have to order it, and it takes months to get delivered. But here it is different. I mean, if there is something not working, you just can file a complaint and it will be like fixed as soon as possible. And to get an equipment, you can order. right away, and it will get delivered within a week or so. So it it is it is quite fast on the basis of like resources availability and all.
Okay. So, do you think that if we PhD, we mostly talk about research papers, and but I feel PhD is not only the publishing the papers as well as get the proper training, because you are a researcher, you must be a like adding something to the research or science part. So you need a proper training. So do you
Yeah.
think if, from the university or if a professor is good enough to for, let's say we don't know how much is the training part, because if we are new to the PhD, then we don't really understand what is training and how to do it. But right now, since you have spent uh, around 1 year of time, so
Mm.
right now, do you think there is a proper training for PhD to the PhD students in the university?
Uh, on on the training part of view, I would say university sometimes have some programs which is specifically for researchers to kind of help them grow in their field, like to teach them how to kind of handle their data and how to write proposals for early researcher and in after the later years of researcher. And they have also provided some kind of seminars in which they teach students how to present your research work in a good manner, how to be efficient scientific speaker and like that. So for that I have joined those courses on the ground of university, and for specifically on the basis of supervisor. So in the group we have kind of a culture that we have group meetings every week on Monday mostly. And so we discuss what we are doing in our group, and everyone like tells about what is the progress he did in the whole last week and what are their goals for the next week. And if there is something which require attention or some kind of modification, then another person from the group can add to your work, or if they can contribute or collaborate in any way. But most of the time you are working on your own. I mean, like if you are facing a problem, so until you don't go to anyone asking about it, no one will like come to you and ask if you are struggling or not. But but I think on the basis of training, PhD is like to develop your own thinking and research skills. So if you are doing it on your own and you need help, then it is available here.
Do you think here, like IITs, we are not properly guided to talk, like to present our work? There is not proper guidance in terms of courses. There are some guidance for research ethics and all, like the proper citation and some English speaking courses, but not like the how to write a proposal or how to present your work. So, do you think it is helpful for the all the students, regardless of the universities? Each university or institute should have this kind of training at the initial stage.
Yes, yeah, exactly the same thing. So when I arrived here, I mean, it is like this university's yearly routine. They invite some kind of like master of the field. So when I had that course about scientific speaking, there was a person who was like having 30 years of experience of public speaking, and he also very clearly like defined every term, how to speak confidently and how to like uh, deliver your idea in short words, and depending on the different audience, different type of audience, how to like create your own presentation, and how to like proceed during the presentation, how to handle questions, how to handle difficult questions. So this was done by the university, and it was open to all. I mean, any one of the student who is studying in the university can participate in that course, and it was kind of free to access, but there were limitation on number of seats, so it was like first come first serve basis. But yeah, it was there, and it is quite helpful. I mean, if you are very new to the field and you don't have very good idea, I mean, how to present yourself to a large audience, then they give some kind of small tips to you, which kind of boost your confidence or update your skills like that.
I see. Yeah, I just want all the IIT Delhi PhD student, they should listen to this, and they should right now I am getting some notification regarding the elections and the manifesto, and these manifestos are mostly related to the campusing or food. But I just, as a researcher, I also want that there should be a proper training, because most of the time we have results, but the capability of presenting the results scientifically in a short words, that is missing because no
Yeah,
proper training. And so institute like IIT or eminent institutes in India, in other institutes, they should also focus on giving us training on speaking, scientifically speaking.
yeah,
And also another point you mentioned, that how to handle the questions as well as difficult questions, because most of the audience don't want to present because of the fear of the difficult questions. So
yeah,
but anyhow we have to present our work, and this is the life of researcher. So that is a really appreciating step for the
yeah.
university.
So I had two courses when I joined here. One was on scientific presentation and another was on scientific writing. And both courses like of 2 days, I mean 2 whole days. And at the end of the course, we have to kind of prepare an assignment, and it was evaluated, and on the basis of that, it was graded. And they pointed out some kind of errors where you made mistakes and how can you improve it for better.
Yeah, really good. So I just want to ask you, what is the academic and industrial aspects, like is there job opportunities after PhD?
Uh, if I talk about my field, it is biomedical photonics. So we kind of study light and use it for diagnostics. So it has kind of very high industry value, since a lot of industries working in the field of making medical equipments for diagnosis. And optics is kind of very useful field in this way. And we are using visible light, so that is very less harmful, or let's say no, it has no harm over like humans. So using light in diagnostics, it is kind of very helpful, and a lot of industries are like proceeding in this way. And on the part of academic research also, there are always a space to enhance the previous methods and developing new tools and compacting the existing one. So I think it has both opportunities in field of industry and as well as in academia.
Okay, so another question just I missed to ask you from the in the first row. So how did you get the opportunity to get the admission? Did you have to clear language tests like TOEFL, IELTS, or like GRE?
Uh, in Europe, I think there is no requirement for students to pass any kind of language test. So as from IIT, we have kind of our background for education is in English, and we can present very well in English, and our language of instruction and examination is English. So the people here know very well that Indian people kind of speak very good English. And when you apply, you write your mail in English and you present your work, you give your interview in English. So they kind of get an idea that this person can like communicate very well in English. So it is not required to get any kind of test
Yeah,
for as
another yeah. And also I just sorry to interrupt. I
Hmm.
just also want to add another point, that they also don't want to promote English language.
Yeah, mean their native language is also not English. So whole of the Europe, only the UK has the native English language. Otherwise, everything like Germany has their own language, Spain, France. So their second language is English. So they know that if another person can communicate in English, then it is useful. So it is not required in like I think for UK it is required sometimes, but not for other part of the Europe like Germany or Switzerland, Spain, France. I have never seen that.
Okay. So uh, that is a clarification from Bhanu that we don't have to crack GRE, we don't have to crack TOEFL or IELTS. Rather, we
Mm.
need to prepare our master project sincerely. We have to present
Yeah,
our work. If you are selected, that is the basis because your project work was good or you
yeah,
have put your enough effort to conduct the work sincerely, and that is the that you can present.
yeah. I will say the most important thing you can do is to have a good knowledge of your project, what you are doing, and you know how to defend your project. If you know most of the details and the working principle which are you are implementing in your project and why are you doing so, then I think it is quite easy to answer all your questions, and it gives a good impression to the person who is interviewing you, kind of that you know things very well. So I think it is the most important thing to know your project in very good details.
Yes. And what is your suggestion to undergraduate or postgraduate students who are right now preparing their project work, or not even some of the universities even don't offer the project work? So
Yeah.
how they will prepare?
Uh, so I did my masters, first masters from the university, Rohilkhand University, Bareilly, and it was like there was no provision in like curriculum that you have to do a project. But as I mentioned that I did a small project apart from my curriculum. So I approached my professor who was like doing research work and other PhD students were working under his guidance. So I asked him, is there anything I can do for a small master project? And he was happy to have me. And then he assigned a small task to me that you can do it. But unfortunately, I could not complete that due to COVID, since it was like in the lab, not that much theoretical. But I think this kind of approach, if there is no project in your curriculum, you can have and then approach your professor and ask them that can you kindly give me something to work on, and then you will have something to present at least during your interview. So that for applying outside India for the PhD, you must have a master project, I would say. So the person, your professor directly ask what you are doing right now or what you have done during your research career before joining the PhD, and you should present that in a very good way so that he kind of convinced that you are having a skill to be a good researcher and can hire you.
Okay, another very important question: research or UPSC? Which one to choose?
Mm. Uh, at, I I can tell you not much about it since I am not having good experience in the field of UPSC. But uh, as I know a thing about UPSC, that the success rate is really low there, and most of the people who kind of apply and prepare for that after 5 or 10 years of preparation, they are out of the competition and they don't have anything to do, and they also don't have any skills that can be applied in industry except they can be a good teacher. So on that basis, if someone has invested like 5 or 6 years of time in PhD or somewhere, at least he may be having good skill set which can be utilized anywhere. Like teaching is an option, but apart from teaching, you can be in industry or building your own startup or anything. I think that is the difference I say we have in PhD or UPSC. But on the basis of rewards, we get, if you get selected in UPSC, then rewards are higher that you get kind of very prestigious job around. But there is a risk also of getting failed.
Yeah, of course, each of the preparation has their own journey. So PhD is
Yeah.
also preparation of being a good researcher.
Yes.
scientist, or even if apart from the researcher, you will also learn many more different life skills that you will earn
Yes.
it for the lifetime. And similarly, other preparation also will give some learnings. But yeah, after PhD, you will not fail. You will definitely
Yes.
have something to gain and
Yes.
carry forward.
Yes.
So, and also UPSC has its own flaws, but I have seen most of the people and their tendency right now for PhD that they try to secure a place and further, uh, rather focusing on their PhD, they are working or focusing on cracking exams like
Oh,
public service commission. So that could be avoided. Uh,
I think yeah, we should be honest to our work in which we are doing. Like you cannot do PhD and UPSC together, I think.
Together, yes, because PhD itself is a new thing. So,
Yes. And it requires a
so
lot of work, and like it is quite demanding in terms of your investment of time.
yes, yeah. So I just would like to just have a last question.
Mm.
So, what is your suggestion to all the students?
Uh, First of the thing, I would say that don't be so afraid of like thinking of going outside. It is not that difficult as you have seen, or you are kind of thinking in mind that going abroad is very difficult and there is very less chance of doing it. So just be prepared strategically around, prepare your master project very well, and then have good skills. Like if your project like have some kind of programming involved, then learn it quite very well, and then learn to like think in terms of how you can benefit out of this project, so that when someone asks what is the significance of the work you are doing, then you can very well defend this question. And just apply, find the position and apply for it, and face the interviews, and I will say 5 or 10 interviews will be enough to get a very good position around. So don't be fear, and don't have any kind of fear in your mind that you will not get selected. There is nothing which can kind of go wrong for it. So
Yes.
it, this is kind of,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I
So
mean
the
to say that have a positive attitude towards that, you will get a very good chance to get abroad.
I see. So first prepare your thesis properly, master thesis, and then
Yes.
apply the positions, give
Yep.
interview
Mm.
fearlessly, and if
Yes.
you get the position, go there.
Yeah, being fearless, I will say it is the most important skill you can have during the interview. Being the confidence or being fearless is kind of very important thing to show that you are like owning your work and you are doing it by your choice, not by any compulsion.
How many applications you think required to get secure a PhD admission?
Uh, it is quite highly relative. Mm, if I talk about myself, I did around 20 to 30 applications during during the time of around 1 month or so, and I got reply from 6 or 7 people, out of which I gave 4 interviews, and in four I got selected in 3 interviews of that, and then I chose this one. But the application depends highly on where you are applying, and does that person have kind of very good amount of like money to hire you, or they have kind of open position, or it also depends on that how much competition you are fighting. I mean, let's say if there is one position and it is like publicized highly, and then let's say a lot of people applies to this position, then it is very unlikely that when a lot of people compete that you will get. But sometimes it is like that you or 2 3 people only applied for the position, and then it is very high chance that you will get that position. So, but I would say that apply as more as you can, so that you have very high chances of getting it. and apply relevantly. Mean, don't do it like mailing everyone. Just first find the professor, is it relevant to your work, and if he replies whether it will be a good idea to join there or not, first decide it and then write a specific individual mail to every professor. That is quite helpful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ivanu, for your so enlightening discussion and giving the proper bullet points to all the students with the proper advisory. Like, yeah, do this and then you go that way. So this is very important, and it could be a template for the students who are willing to join PhD in Europe, and maybe it is useful for postdoc applications also. The similar tips are also
Yes.
applied for other positions apart from
Yes.
the PhD. So thank you for giving us time. Like instead of
Yeah.
having busy schedule and your work, and
Thank you.
we wish you all the best for your bright future. And please keep our IITians from IIT Delhi. Uh, so much of we feel so much of pride because of you, because you are doing a very good work, and also you are representing our country. So lot of responsibility on you to
Yeah,
have
I
a
am like very proud of being an IITian and being an Indian as well. It is kind of really proud to be here and everything. Yeah.
thank you so much. So friends, hope you find this video helpful. Please do subscribe the channel and please share with all the students for their benefit. Thank you so much for watching this video.